guys, welcome to this episode of She Is. In today's episode I'm going to talk to Alizé, who actually is a girl that I've never met before. I just really liked what she was about. I liked her aesthetic, I liked the way she carried herself, and I just kind of wanted to find more, slash kind of wanted to be her friend a little bit. So I emailed her. I was just like, I want to talk to you because I think it's important as women, if you're inspired, if you think someone's interesting, find out more. Like, I want to learn from other women, and I think it's important that if I look at someone, whether they're 50 years older or 10 years younger, it's just to be like, what makes you tick? What can I learn from you? What can you learn from me? And group together. So I'm going to talk to her when she arrives, do that awkward, hey, we don't know each other thing, and then let's start chatting. So come with. I think she could be quite interesting. Hello. It's okay, don't worry. Okay, so hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for coming. I know you don't know me, which is weird because I was like, hello Instagram. So if someone came up to you and said, who are you? What do you say?
My name is Alizé Demange.
Quite a cool name as well. Do you find that a lot of people are like, how do you say it? I mean, I did it. I was like, how do you say your name?
I didn't know how to say my own name for like the first 5 years of my life.
So basically tell me about you, tell me what you do, where you're ethnically from, which I still actually don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I recently wrote like a long post about it. Not that I had like a negative experience, but I think it was like hard growing up looking ethnically ambiguous and not necessarily looking exactly like where you come from.
Hello, I have the same problem.
Yeah. So I found that quite hard. I still find that hard. I think people still like, even I had a meeting the other day, someone was like, where are you from?
How much do you feel like you answer that question?
Actually black.
Yeah. I know I answer that all the time. And you feel like you feel like also like defending yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like I've always been kind of, it's frustrating because even I'm like, does it make me so unconfident and insecure that I have to defend myself? Yeah, it's amazing being in the city and then meeting people who are like from 10 different places.
Yeah.
Whereas when I go somewhere else, you don't meet anyone like that. And that is boring. And you feel everywhere is boring. And it just becomes a really whitewashed environment that is the same tone and the same vibe, and you don't feel like you belong.
Do you feel like you belong?
Yeah.
So ethnically, where are you from?
My mum is from Belgium and my dad is from France and from Martinique, which is Marseille Nation.
I mean, that's really like who was gonna guess that?
No one can guess it, but like obviously my dad's already mixed race, so I'm.
Oh, so you're like a mix of the mix.
Yeah, I'm a mix of the mix. I'm double.
I find that people ask you that. Like, do you feel like you're saying that you? And sometimes you feel like you're defending yourself, but you don't mind representing being mixed race?
I think I've always like harshly represented being mixed race. Like,
why?
I don't know. I think I always knew that I definitely wasn't white, and like I don't know whether that made me. But I think it made me upset that I sometimes wasn't like accepted in the black community. Okay. But then I don't have anywhere to like really be.
You're in the middle.
Yeah, and like obviously my parents are French, so like we raised in our culture, we raised very French.
When you think of it in the industry, did you ever feel like interning or doing things growing up in the industry, were you ever like, ugh, like because I'm not Caucasian and then I'm not accepted on either end of the scale?
Luckily for me, like where I actually interned with, because I didn't do that many internships, I know like tell everyone to do like loads. I tell everyone to do like a massive amount of internships, but I didn't really do that many. Like luckily my first assistant job was with a stylist that I already knew. Okay. Called Carl Duval, who does Reaura. And you know, he's the Londoner. Yeah. You know, when from London, that just doesn't.
Do you identify with being a London girl?
Yeah, and I think it's maybe being a Londoner from a working class background. Okay. And then I think for me personally, when that is the case, race doesn't really come into it. I don't really think we never really talk about it that much. Or it doesn't. You know, everyone kind of knows
in your community.
Yeah, everyone knows each other's cultures. Yeah. Like you know what I don't know, like your Moroccan friends gonna have for dinner. Yeah. And you know, like you know a lot about like I don't know, the Islamic community. And you know about like you've been to, you know.
So it's like the awareness, isn't it?
Yeah, like you just know so much about other people's culture. Yeah, I suppose I'm a fashion stylist. That's definitely what I'm doing and what I make money from.
But would you say you are?
I think definitely I am. That's what I strive to become.
Yeah.
And I also did internship at Le Coq Sportif as marketing assistant.
Okay. That's funny that. So then you always did sportswear?
Yeah.
You just always did sportswear?
It's not because I wanted to. I love styling, but I think I like the idea of creative direction more, and
of a big brand like that.
yeah, of either not a brand or an artist, like an individual. I think clothes are one thing, but the entire image, like as a stylist, you have to do so much. It's not just, sometimes it's just like someone appoints you the role of just finding the clothes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, you have to think of the hair, the makeup, the environment, people with marketing background, and I think I've just always had a little bit more of a business idea, like wheeler dealer.
So you're like business minded, wheeler dealer.
Yeah, trying to
wheeler dealer.
yeah, trying to make a buck, innit? Like, I think I started off doing that kind of like street style, and I hate calling it that, yeah, because I think I styled the way that I liked to dress.
Okay.
And
So where does that come from? Where does the street style like inspiration come from? Like,
I think it's just like literally from day to day dressing. I don't know what like my mum would say would be horrified at. So like I think they worked hard to make us not chabby in any way. and
now you wear
like,
streetwear all the time.
I bought gold tooth the other day and she was like, "Not."
You did not.
Yeah, she was not happy. Because obviously now in the age of social media, I have to push myself.
Yeah,
People
well, we were just saying like,
me.
yeah, you're like, oh crap, I've got to find something to put on Instagram today. It's just like
I
that
seem
is
to be
it.
more of a feature point than my work. I think it's because I don't know. I don't know. You know what's harder? When you're in this industry, a lot of people are out here contriving, simulating some kind of idea of themselves, and they're pushing it out there down people's throats. Trying to tell people who they are. And they beg a lot for their opportunities, which is great because you know if that's your way in, that's good, and I actually applaud you because you know it takes balls to do that. That I think, especially growing up in London, that kind of for me, that kind of persona was just like really uncool. Okay. So like if someone didn't really want me to do something, I'm not doing it. Like I wasn't gonna push my way in. I'll do something else. Okay. And I think in some ways it's kind of led to my demise, because if I was a little bit more pushy and a little bit more out there and a little bit more networky, maybe I'd get a little bit further.
Yeah, but would you be there on a spite and be like, I don't really want to be here?
I just don't. It's just not my personality. I think I've always kind of preferred to either do my own thing when I don't feel accepted somewhere. I'll just do something of my own, and that's what led me to do my own things.
So tell me about that.
Magazine work.
You're like, no one wants to give me a job, I'll give myself a job.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about it's Zine, is that what it's called?
I call it Zine because I think it's the end of magazine.
Oh, is that where it comes
but
from?
A lot of people call it Zine. So, and when I say Zine, they're like, what is that? And I'm like, it's a little magazine.
Did you do this?
I started one called Girl Code. Okay. I always wanted to do like a publication. I had like an online platform before that was like women orientated and girl focused and it was all about girl power, and I think it just came out at the wrong time. Yeah. Because the girl power movement has been it's very recent thing. I know. Like it's suddenly like let's push girl power. I know. And you're like, that. I did that. I already did the girl power thing. I already did it, guys. No one cares. But it's okay. I think it took me ages to get over that one. Seriously. And then after Girl Code, I was like, I want to do this again, but I really want to have a deeper point of view. Did you choose to do it because you were like, I need to find my place in this industry, or did it have nothing to do with finding a place in the industry and you just wanted to do your own thing? Actually, it was a little bit about that because I was a little bit annoyed. Yeah. I think I was a bit annoyed that all these girl things, like, it's all great, well and good to have all these like female empowerment things out there, but why are they all just like, they don't talk about anything. Yeah. It's like, it's not even empowering anymore. Yeah, it's not empowering. No. Yeah. People go through like horrible problems every day. Yeah. Throwing like a pink party isn't going to help anyone. Yeah. Also, for me, it was just a bit like, okay, I need something different. And also, it's just another brand focus, isn't it? Like, at the end of the day, yeah, female empowerment is really important right now because you need to sell pair of trainers, but it's not so important when, you know, there are people having
real life
problems
issues.
in the world.
Things you go back into the industry and try and like squeeze in and be at a magazine and like do that kind of thing, or you know, did you ever feel like you wanted to be part of that?
I never. I always found it very difficult to get actual like jobs in like real companies.
Why do you think that is?
I don't. Okay, so I've had like some interviews for like positions in magazines, and I never seemed to really get anywhere. And I always felt like they were not very supportive, and maybe like I'm not from the highest of backgrounds, so I think that actually has like it does have an effect on who you know, who your family knows, who they're going to get you into. It's a class thing. I think when you're actually working for like these high-end publications, it's a lot of them that work there is because they went to private school. I work in a bubble that's now before was like very sportswear, streetwear. Now it's turning into more of a discussion, POC. You know,
that's quite cool.
Yeah, though. It's as I'm getting older, this little community.
Yeah,
but is it because I've grown up in a black community? I've grown up in who's like the urban community.
In the urban community. You grew up in the urban community.
The urban community, whatever that means. So yeah, but I have. That's who I hate. Even my work caters for them. We're overlooked, but I think we're what the brands want to pay for now.
Yeah, because it's cool to be urban.
Apparently, like it's cool
Does
to
that
be.
piss you off?
I think it is annoying. It's annoying that apparently it's cool to be, but it doesn't actually feed the kids. What you want to get, like.
Okay. Yeah, no, but that's a fair point.
It's like, okay, so we get used as influencers all the time.
Yeah.
And you want to give people opportunities, but all you want to give them is give them clothes.
Yeah.
But you don't give them like. You can't give a job or like a project or something further sustainable. It's a lot of culture vulturing.
That's a really interesting term, culture vulturing. I've never heard of that.
So for me it was like, okay, that's the first rule of business, isn't it? It's like you use your resources that surround you.
Yeah.
So I created something amazing out of the things that were amazing around me, and they just happen to be all great women.
Yeah.
So you know, that happens.
I quite like that, because when we said earlier about fitting in and stuff, you created a space for what you want to do or are doing, is creating a space for other girls to fit it.
We live now in a kind of control bubble that we can't say too much or too little, because if we say too little,
then
we're not helping anything.
And if you say too much, no one wants to hear
No one wants to work with you.
Yeah. So don't say too little, don't say too much.
Yeah,
say
and
just the right
you kind of, especially I think maybe as a person of colour, a person from a like working class background, you have to stay in your lane. You have to stay in your lane a little bit, because you start talking too much, people are going to be like, who's this girl anyway?
Yeah, it's kind of like you have to stay in your lane unless you say something that's significant enough for them to be like, oh, what's she got to say?
I think one of my New Year's resolution to read more, because I'm smart, but I don't think I can articulate everything that I actually do think properly out loud, and I rate people who really can. Yeah. Because you know, intelligence shuts down everyone else. At the end of the day, when you read something that's like.
So maybe actually, do we think that young women should focus on being more intelligent?
Yes. I think it's very, very important. It's help you be a better person, definitely.
Oh, I quite like that message.
Yeah, I think it's really important to be smart, actually.
Maybe, as well as do your thing, do your social media thing, be pretty, take nice pictures, post nice things.
Oh, yeah.
Be intelligent.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's nothing against like being like just a normal typical girl, man. And obviously, for example, your thing is makeup, then know everything about makeup then. Yeah. So no one can question you. Know your trade. Yeah, know your trade. So easy to be done nowadays, isn't it? And on that note, we can finish this conversation. Thank you so much for coming. I actually really enjoyed this chat. I really did. And what we have to say when you're on YouTube is like and subscribe, so you can help me say it. Okay. Like and subscribe. You should like and subscribe. No, you should. No, you should like and subscribe. I'm not very good with YouTube. I don't know. I've never subscribed to anything in my life. Will you subscribe to this? You know who said you're gonna subscribe? I am gonna subscribe. She's gonna subscribe. It'll be my first. It'll be my first. I'm gonna be. Okay, great. That's really cool, isn't it? Thanks for coming. That's really cool.